Hi guys. I'm just want to hop on really quick and go over your final project with you. Um, this project is going to go along with the book that you were reading or supposed to be reading. Um, and it will be, I'm not sure if it's going to be a quiz grade or a test grade yet. Um, but it will definitely, if you are not happy with your grade right now, this is definitely the way that you are going to be able to bring it up before grades close. So, the way that I designed this project, you do not have to finish the book in order to complete this. So, if you maybe were behind and you're kind of just in the first half or something like that, I mean, it's fine as long as you've read and you have some kind of an understanding of the plot and the characters, you should have no problems with doing this. The other thing with the way that I designed this is basically you are making what I'm calling an alphabet book. Okay. And if you scroll down here, I created an example to show you, and I used the book The Giver, which some of you read for the first round of literature circles. And basically, what you're going to get is you're going to get an empty chart that looks like this. Okay. I'm going to go back here to my example. I gave you all the letters of the alphabet. Okay, and then you need to come up with a word that has something to do with the story. So you need a word for that matches each letter of the alphabet. So if you look here for letter A, I did apple. And the reason I chose apple is there is a part in the book The Giver where Jonas is tossing an apple back and forth, and he happens to notice something, and it's a really important part of the book. And so I just wrote a sentence here. Jonas first notices that he can see beyond when the apple he is throwing to Asher changes color. So I'm explaining the relationship between the word apple and the story. So it's not just like a completely random word. The word I'm choosing obviously has something to do with the book. For letter B, I did best friend. Jonas's best friend in this book is another boy by the name of Asher. And then I just kind of went down. I had the words community, December, elsewhere, food, Gabriel, holidays, indescribable, Jonas, knowledge, love. So if you're looking at these words, some of them are nouns. They're people or places or things. Some of them are adjectives like indescribable. Some of them are themes like love. Um, so basically, you are using your word and your sentence or two to show me that you read something in the book somewhere along the lines, and that you can kind of relate these words to the story. The other reason why I created this assignment like this is cheating. I've mentioned it a few times. It has become a problem because it's online, and I know it happens, and there's nothing that I can really do to stop that. But for this particular assignment, because you are picking words from the book that relate to you and you're explaining why they stood out to you or why you think they're important, there really is no reason for anyone to have the same exact answers. If you happen to have like a character name, I mean, the same as somebody else, that's understandable. If you happen to have, let's say, a location or a place that is mentioned in the book, that makes sense. There is no reason why anyone's project should look too much like anybody else's. Okay. So if you look up here at the directions, it says you will create an alphabet of the most important aspects of your book. It is okay if you have not finished reading, like I just explained. You can still do this project even if you're not done. You will choose a word for each letter of the alphabet, so just like I was showing you. And then that word should show or tell or explain something about the book. It should relate to the book in some way. If you put a random word up here, and I've read all of the books that were assigned, if you put a random word up here and I don't understand through the word itself or through your sentence here what it has to do with the book, then I can't give you credit for it. Okay. So it says the words can be characters, character traits, settings, important things that happen, conflicts, colors, anything you can think of that has something to do with the story and matches the letter. And then notice here I put letters X, Y, and Z are not required, but I will make sure that you get some extra points if you do come up with words for those. On my example here, I did come up with X, Y, and Z. I just basically I Googled like a list of words that start with X and I started to read through them and read through the definitions. And I found one that I felt related to the book. So in this case, I chose the word xenophobia, and that is the fear of what is foreign or what is unknown. And that relates to this book because there is a very real fear of sort of the unknown in the outside world. So I was able to kind of, it took a while for me to think of these. For some of these letters, they were really easy. For others, I kind of sat there for a while and was like, oh my gosh, I can't think of anything. And then I went back to the book and I started to just kind of scroll through the book and look for words or thoughts or things that stood out to me that I could match to it. So for this, when I did this, and granted, I've read The Giver quite a few times, but I would say this took me maybe an hour or so, just to kind of, and I went back and changed some after that. I felt like, I put some words down, and then later on, I thought, oh, well, this one would be better. So I went back and edited it after and kind of made it, make a little bit more sense. I would say that there was probably like 2 or 3, maybe 4 that I got stuck on and I had a hard time finding. And so, like I said, I just went back to the book and I started to kind of scroll through and think of different things that were happening and how I could match a word up with that. So, this is your final project. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is also a scoring rubric, so you know what and how you're being scored. I'm looking for obviously the letters and the words. I'm looking for the sentences to show that you understand the story. I am looking, and you need to pay very close attention to this, the grammar. There should be in a final project no spelling mistakes, no punctuation missing, no capitalization missing. It should be a final product. And I will take big points off for that because there is no reason when you're working on a computer that has spell check, there is no reason that you should be handing anything in with spelling mistakes right now. And then this last category here is for effort. So basically, I can pretty much tell if you tried by what your final product looks like. So this should be, I'm thinking and I'm hoping that this should be a pretty easy way for you to get your grade up right before we are done for the quarter. Going into this last full week of school, I will still be assigning you reading. I will be assigning you your jot thoughts, and then you will have this to work on. And the due date for this will be the 27th. Our last day of school is the 28th. So yes. So the due date for this is going to be May 27th, which is also my birthday, by the way. So this is going to be the date that has to be done by, because I do have to have time to get it graded and get the grades posted and also kind of like give you feedback and let you know if there's anything missing or that you need to fix it up. So if you get it done before that, you are welcome to hand it in early. That would make my life easier because I can score it faster and get it back to you. But basically, I'm going to post this up today, and you are free to work on it whenever you have time. Like I said, the only other assignments you're going to get this week are reading on Monday and Wednesday, and your jot thoughts on Tuesday and Thursday. I'm not going to give you any more of the tracing and argument stuff. I think we've worked on it a lot, and you're going to get it more again next year in 8th grade. So I think we're just going to finish off the end of the school year in the 4th quarter with just reading, doing the jot thoughts, and then your work on this final project. If you have any questions about how this works or anything that I didn't explain good enough, please give me a email or you can send me a message in Remind and I can explain it to you a little better.